Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to another Black Rose Wars Rebirth expansion. This is for Gaea Reborn. So this will be a fun expansion. It'll add a new mage as well as a new avatar to fight. You're going to fight Gaea herself, which is always a really fun thing to get. So here we go. Gaea is an incarnation of Mother Earth. She generated from the fragment in her blood that derived from the distant planet of the Primavius through the Genesis, the Ark spaceship that appeared in Sings Tempor, which is one of the other games in the world here. Gaea will make every effort to return the planet to its primary state, providing a more livable world for her beloved fawns. So of course we're going to get some really cool stuff in here. We're going to get Gaea. She has her own big extra setup as an avatar, so she gets some cool tokens, some crane pieces, some new rooms, so it's not just an extra deck of cards, which is really cool. And then of course we also get a new a new spell. We're gonna get the spell book. We're gonna get the geomancy. So and then we'll also have some Nova Aetas Renaissance crossover, so you can play as Gaea in that game. Play against Gaea in that game, rather. So this will be a two-part video, just a heads up on that. So the first part, we're going to go through our new mage and our spell book, and then we're going to actually do a quick look at the Nova Aetas Renaissance crossover stuff. Then in part 2, we will go over Gaea as the avatar for Black Rose Wars, plus all the stuff that goes with that. Just because since she has some extra stuff in there, it's going to be a little longer video. I didn't want to also throw the crossover stuff at the end of that and make it even longer. So we'll just put it at the end of this video instead. Once we get, I'll let you know when we get to that point. So let's take a quick look at our rule book here and see what we all have. It kind of shows what we got in here. So we got our Mage personal spell card, our school reference card, and our spells, which we'll get to. Our Forgotten Evocation card, Forgotten Spell, and then Gaea and Talia. So our two miniatures in this set. We'll also get the Avatar card, command cards for her. She has some root tokens, some Arbor Aviate tokens, the Filius Evocation card, and Filius token. Now we are getting a token for Filius. It's a fawn creature that's a servant of Gaea. It's also available in Nova Aetas, so if you end up having that set, you can use one of those miniatures instead. And then we have some legendary scenario components. We have some pathway cards, some starter ones, some other ones, and these are going to take a little bit longer to go through. The legendary scenario cards, room activation tokens, and 4 new rooms. Then we have all the rules for Gaea, which we'll look at in part 2. How the paths work. So they're a very interesting mechanic there. Then the legendary setup, how if you want to play this legendary mode, you can set this up as well. And then on the other half of the book is the Nova Aetas, which explains all that stuff. So we'll look at that when we get there. So let's go ahead and look at our mage to begin with. So we are going to start with Talia. Let me readjust my camera and stuff a bit. Alright, so Talia has stats of 10 health, 8 cards per hand, or in her hand, max hand size, 2 attack, 2 movement, and 2 quests. So very standard stuff. I think they tried to keep majority of the retail expansion characters with roughly the same stats as the core set, so they're very easy to swap in and out. The thing, of course, that makes them very different is their personal spell. But since you only get 3 over the game, it's not a huge difference, but it can definitely make a difference. So let's take a look at what her miniature looks like. So it's kind of neat. You can see by her legs there, she has some hooved legs, so she's a fawn-type creature. So that's kind of cool that we're getting non-human creatures we can play as well. But she's kind of all disguised and hidden and stuff. This must be a fawn that decided to go against Gaea. Didn't really agree with her. So you can kind of see there, if we look back at the picture again, she's got like kind of the pointed ears and stuff. So that's pretty cool. So we just switch gears. Like all of the other previous mages, they usually all tie kind of into one spell book. So like the 6 core tied into 6 there, the 5th 6-player expansions, the core 4 tied into 4 of the 6 in the core set, the 5th 6-player expansions tied into the other 2. And then any sort of expansion that's now come with an additional one, usually they go like this. So she's going to tie very closely into working like a geomancy. Not to say you can't use her if there's no geomancy spell books, but she'll work better. So her 3 personal spells are one-sided. They don't have a rotational side. It's just called Mastery. Combat spell, any type of magic or element, and it targets 1 room away. So it's just Geoform. So it's just Geoform, red room, says, or purple room. Inflict 3 damage. Geoform, green or yellow. Place 3 instability. Geoform, blue or gray. Can't learn my colors. Draw 2 cards from your grimoire. Heal 2. You may place yourself in the target room or Geoform's black room. Convert 2 and steal 1. So what does Geoform mean? Let's go ahead and look at the Geomancy card, the spell school. Some spells in the school have the Geoform keyword effect. This keyword is always followed by at least 1 room colored symbol. Part of the effect indicated Geoform resolves only if the target room of that effect is one of the colors indicated after the keyword. So cool. So that's basically how hers is going to work. So again, it ties. That's how it ties in with the Geomancy, because then you're going to want to be targeting more certain rooms and this and that. But it can definitely work 100% without it. But yeah, so this is kind of makes the spell very interesting because it has a bunch of different effects. But it's also limited on what you can target, and so you only target 1 room away. You may end up having potentially all 6 targets, even 7, the black rose, depending on where you are, or you might end up with 2. It just might depend on how the rooms are all laid out. Then the other card we have in here is Nature Spirits. This is our Forgotten spell. It's a contingency spell with Earth and can target anywhere. Summon Gaea. Convert 1 in any room, and then do that 4 times. So you can definitely convert a bunch of mana for you. Not mana, instability. On her other side of Nature Spirit, contingency, this one turns to fire, can target anyone, summons Gaea, and activates. So this is kind of neat. We have the Forgotten spells that let you summon these big, giant, massive things to help you. I'm honestly surprised they don't have like a restriction on it that would be like, they summon them, but like, they go away at the end of the turn or something, like they're a 1 turn or like a 2 turn effect or something. Alright, so before we head into our spellbook, let's take a look at Gaea. So we have a look at our miniature. So I don't have a stand or a holder for her, because she is very big. She also has a little green inside of her. It is hard to tell because of what it is, but it is supposed to be a baby. So she's supposed to have a little green glowing earth baby. And then she has spread some of her Gaea green effect to other people as well. But yeah, it's kind of neat. She's got like the bent legs. So she's kind of like a fawn-ish in herself, but she's also like a treant. And then I love that the green goes all like see-through all the way through. More like a dryad, maybe, rather than a treant. She's a plant-based creature. And then if we take a look at the picture from the covers, we have a thing. So that's kind of what that inside's supposed to look like. But yeah, very, very cool. And then let's put her in height difference next to our other miniature, just so you can see how big she is in comparison. She's a big one. So they're one of the Titans, I believe they're called. It's her, Kronos, and is it Hyperion? I think are the 3 big ones. And they were in different sets. Kronos was in, I think, Noble Equus, and then Hyperion. No, Hyperion's in Noble Equus. I think Kronos was in the original Black Rose Wars, and then she completes the trilogy of, like, the 3 godlike beings that are on this world. Awesome. Alright, so then let's take a look at our spellbook. We have Geomancy. Back up just a little bit for this. So at the top, of course, we're going to show different elements. We have geodesy, and then we have geomorphology. And it shows all the different spells on there. And then, of course, there's 3 of each, and we're just going to look at 1 copy of each spell. Okay, zoom in a little bit there. So you have Arcane Sinkhole, which is a trap. Another mage enters a red room or a blue room. Target that room the mage is in, inflict 2 damage, and place 2 instability. Or, you can make it into a combat spell, inflict 2 damage, place 1 instability. And then Geoform, if you target one of those 2 colors, the red or blue room, inflict 2 damage and place 1 instability. So that's kind of a neat little mechanic for how that can work. So if you just target one space, you do a little effect. But if you target specific spaces, it can do an additional amount. Kind of the same way the trap is going to be pretty good if you target some, otherwise it's wasted. It gives you a little bit, play around where your rooms are, which is kind of fun. We have Unstable Creek. Another mage enters a blue or green room. Target room the mage is in, remove up to 3 instability. Placing amount of instability equal to the amount you removed. Do this effect in 2 rooms from the target. Oh, cool. So it's kind of like changing it, but instead you're getting rid of somebody else's, but you can place yours somewhere else. That's kind of neat. And then we have the opposite side, which is contingency. Remove up to 2 instability, placing a amount of instability equal to the amount removed. Do this effect 1 from the target. And if you have Geoform in blue or green, convert 1 and place 2 more. So that's nice. You're getting to remove some and place a bunch in the same area. Whips of Thorns. Another mage enters a green or yellow room. Target room that mage is in, inflict 2 damage in each 1 room from the target. Cool, so like splashes out and hits a bunch of other guys. And 2 damage in each 1 room from the target. Cool. And then we have the other side. It's a combat spell. Inflict 1 damage. Move up to 1 mage, which is in the target room. And you have Geoform, yellow or green. Inflict 1 damage. Move 1 mage in a room. Move up to 1 mage in a room, which is in the target room. So it's kind of neat. It just doubles up the effect. So you can, like, slash out and hit multiple guys then. Which I wonder if you could do that. If I inflict this, like this is my second spell, my first one, like a trap that's like when they entered a room, like a red room, and then I could use this to hit them and then move them into a red room and trigger my trap. I'm pretty sure that's how that would work. That'd be a fun combo. Contortion. A trap for another mage enters a yellow or black room. Target that mage, inflict 2 damage, and steal 1 rose power point. Or contingency, target up to 3 rooms, convert 1, activate the target room even if it is used. And if you have Geoform, if it is why am I not reading colors right? Yellow or gray, convert 2. Nice, that's pretty fun, getting convert stuff. Cemeterial Mist, another mage enters a gray or red room. Target room of the mage is in, move up to 1 A1 model, inflict 3 damage. Okay, I see. I'm like trying to figure out this. So it's target the room the mage is in, and you can move up to 1 model, so it doesn't have to be a mage. You can target a room a mage is in, but then you can move any model. You can move their evocations and stuff too. Just kind of worded weird. The other side is a combat spell, inflict 2 damage, or Geoform, gray and red, inflict 2 damage. Earthblow. Another mage enters a purple room or the black rose room. Target room that mage is in, place 2 and convert 2. It's also interesting, just to note the way this works, right? So it's place 2. If 2 would, fill up the thing, fill up the instability, I don't know if you then also get to convert to. I guess it depends on when it checks. If it doesn't, I think if it checks after your turn, then you would be able to. But if it checks immediately, I don't remember exactly the timing for that. Earthblow, attack, combat spell. Put 2 damage, draw 1 card from your grimoire. If you have Geoform of Purple or Black Rose Room, inflict 2 damage, draw 1 card from your grimoire. Fortuna Major. So here we have a bunch of traps. Now we're getting out of the traps for the second half of the deck. Contingency spell. Discard up to 2 events. The Black Rose does not gain any points due to this effect. Gain 1 for each event discarded due to this event. Ooh, interesting. So if you don't like the events, you can discard them. A little manipulation. Or draw 2 cards from your grimoire and gain a point. Then we have Fortuna Minor. Draw 1 quest from the current moon. You may discard 1 card from your hand. If you do, draw 1 quest from the current moon. Nice, getting some quests. On the opposite side, you may discard 1 of your unsolved quests. If you do, gain 2 roses. That's a fun ability too. You just can't complete them. Gives you a way to get rid of them. Caput Draconis. It's now a protection spell. If you're the target of a attack or contingency spell, or you're about to suffer its effect, if that spell is not a forgotten spell, ignore that spell's effect. Nice, just straight up ignore whatever. Or if you are the target of a trap or deep protection spell or about to suffer its effect, not forgotten, ignore that effect. That's pretty cool. Depending on how well you get it. Then we have Kulga Draconis. Another mage solves a quest. Target that mage. The target discards a solved quest. You gain a rose. On the other hand, we have the about to cast their quick spell. Draw a card from your memories. Draw 2 cards from the library. Nice. These are kind of neat. So they're like, different ways to interact with other things other than just taking damage. Which I think is a fun little thing. We have Carcer, combat spell. Persistent, inflict 2 damage to the target each time they resolve the effect of a combat spell. Oh, nice. This is going to keep hitting them every time they play extra attack spells. On the other hand, we have Persistent, inflict 2 damage to the target each time they resolve the effect of a room. So you kind of play this card depending on, a guy's activating a bunch of rooms for their thing. Hey, hit them with this. They're going to take 2 damage every time they do. It might slow them down for a turn. Or if they're playing a bunch of combat spells. Cool. And our last card is, alright, we have Conjuncto. So a contingency spell targeting a mage. Place yourself in the Black Rose Room. You may discard 3 cards from your hand. If you do, draw 1 forgotten card. Well, that's kind of cool. So if you just to automatically just get there and do things, ideally you probably want to hope to get Gaea, but if you're just summoning a random card, the more and more forgotten cards you add from expansions, the harder it's going to get a specific one. On the opposite side, we have contingency spell. Place yourself in a room 0 from the target. So pick another mage, choose that room. An evocation owned by the target. In a room 2 space from the activates under your control. Cool. So this way, instead, you just steal somebody else's evocation for a turn. So that is also fun. Alright, so we have... we're now going to look at some Nova Aetas stuff. So if you're not concerned or you don't really care about any of that crossover stuff, go ahead, click off the video. Thanks for watching. Come back, check out part 2 where we look at all of the avatar stuff for Gaea. So we have her as an avatar we can fight against. So we'll get that one up. And next, and all her rooms and all her special new stuff. We're going to take a look at what the crossover stuff does. I am also going to forewarn, there are spoilers for this. Because this is some of the story mode, and some of it does have stories. People might not want to know all of it, so if you don't want to see any spoilers, you might want to go ahead and skip so you don't see what dagger or their rewards are and stuff like that. And the last thing for this is I have not played this game and I do not currently own it because I don't know what all the symbols and all that stuff means. So I'm going to read what I can, and that's kind of where we're going to go. So there are, there's a component card here. So we'll go ahead and look at that. I'm going to back this up a little bit. Heroes, Gaea, and Geomancer Talia. So it's going to use Gaea, the Geomancer, or Talia. So we're actually going to use the Mage from this set as one of the characters in the game for this. So it's kind of fun. The Gaea deck, do not shuffle or reveal this deck. 4 trees, 4 tiles, and then 4 treasures. G1, 2, 3, 4. Cool. So then we have card number 1. Which is right here. So we have Gaea. This is just some story stuff. You reach the place marked on the map of the farmers provided. The place looks heavenly and greenly as rushing blaze. You see small animals moving stealthily around you. Tall, soft grass gently sways in the wind like green tea caressing your legs as you advance. Interrupting this idyllic landscape is the sight of a very odd old tree, huge and twisted. In the center is a small clearing. Reveal this card. Alright, so then we have our map. This will show how our map layout. So you have Gaea sitting in the middle, Geomancers hanging out, your heroes start there, and there's some 4 trees. So this is our horogram starting at 10. Capricorn are the heroes, Aquarius are Tala, Pisces is Gaea, Aries are the awakened tree. Neat. Alright, then we have card number 2. Has some more stuff in here. I'm not going to go through and read all this. This is just us getting in there, but you can pause it if you'd like to read that. Then we have some other things here we're going to do. So this is just setting up the game. So if Gaea's among the hunts available on the campaign sheet, you may decide to shuffle her deck of action cards. Reveal 4, and then continue reading. The Geomancer model represents Talia in this mission. Reveal the 5 card, and then continue reading. And the Awakened Scenic Element represents the Awakened Tree in this mission. So Hero's goal is to defeat. Gaea is defeated, and you get a reveal card 7. Heroes defeat condition. If at least 3 heroes are KO'd, reveal 6. If a card must be drawn from the Gaea deck was not possible, also reveal 6. Special, the hunt follows the rules described in the hunt missions of the rulebook. The Awakened Tree. Each tree on the battlefield represents an Awakened Tree. Treat all Awakened Trees as regular enemy models for occupying 1 square. Well, that's kind of cool. So you get a fight against your... fighting against Gaea and Talia, but you also have to worry about trees attacking you, so that's pretty neat. Alright, so card number 3. Whoops-dee-doodles. So, it's the Revolt of Nature. Back this up, just go. Actually, can I zoom back out? There we go. Alright, so then we have our big bosses. So you have Gaea. So again, I don't know what all these means. I believe it's like movement ability, sight distance, defending against certain things, 6 and 7, and then it's 35 health. That's her attack. I think she can attack from 1 distance away. That's a test of 8, I believe. It's a red attack. Again, I'm not sure how those all work. But it's fake, trample, and sturdy. So swiftness. When this is necessary to determine the order of activation, considering that 8 time. Aggressive route. Each time a hero adjacent to Gaea performs any test and obtains at least 1 checkmark, they gain a hindered token. Sensitive for fire. When this model discards the burn token, it suffers 2 damage instead of 1. And then it's shown on the bottom who they target. Highest hero with the least that symbol, least health, and then the furthest hero. Then we have card number 4, which reveals the stats for Talia. So there's her stats. She has Sniper, she has Cross Area, and Hinder. Rebirth. When Awakened Tree within Cross Areas attacks... Rebirth. Awakened Trees within the cross area of this attack, this model discard 1 attack. 1 health. Interesting. And then we have card 5, which are the Awakened Trees. So we have... There's a Fate, Trample, Sturdy, Immune, and Hindered. I guess hindered means they can't move. Sensitive fire. This model discards the bird's token, suffers 2 damage instead of 1. A primordial command. At the end of this model's activation, all heroes same tile as it gain the hindered token. Cool. Then the last 2 are like the resolutions or ends. So if we win the battle, we get, if we lose the battle, we get this card. Nature got the better of you. Stood to wake the face the force of natural power unleashed by Talia and Gaea. So heroes gain injuries. It has to do some other stuff there. Then we have 7 is what happens when the heroes win. You have succeeded in your mission. You have tamed the forest nature and driven Talia out of the forest. Now the crops can be harvested. So take treasures G1, 2, 3, and 4. Countdown of unrevealed actions. I love this little mechanic for the game. You basically get more cards. The more action cards that are revealed. Or unrevealed action cards. So the quicker you beat them, the more treasures you get. And that just has stuff to remove and reset the game. So that is pretty neat there. So before we start looking at any of the decks, I want to look at some of the instruction stuff here. So we have Gaea here for Nova Aetas Renaissance. So yeah, we heard the 2 figures we're going to use Gaea, and she's acting as a necromancer. We have our activation tokens. We have our 8 mission cards we just looked at. We'll have an event mission, an enemy card, reward cards, draft card, Gaea action cards. And then how to use the expansion. So adds a new hunt mission, including any Nova Aetas Renaissance campaign to the core game or expansion. You decide to use a Gaea in your campaign, add the event card from this box to the core game. The Gaea hunt follows the rules of the just type of mission as described. Bounty. Instead of waiting to draw the next event weeds at any point in the campaign, you can mark the tile of this side mission with the active quest slot and play it as we draw in the event weeds. So, okay, so the event is, this is our event card called Weeds. So if you want to force to get that right away, you can opt to do that as well. Alright, and then this section here, so I'll hold up, you can pause and read. It's basically just talking about how large models work. Because there are tiles on the board, when you use the tiles on the board for this game, they basically occupy all squares. It's just saying how if you move them, you count 1 spot, and then they move from that, like to their any other miniature. They just have to end in whatever space you end in. And then it's also saying how the effects work. Someone attacks that area, it hits them, if it hits 4 of the areas they're in, it only counts as 1 hit. And they have line of sight. Cool. Awesome. So that was that. So then we have, I just want to do a quick word about some of the tokens here. We do have their 2 activation tokens. All the rest of the stuff is used in the Black Rose War version as the avatar. So let's go ahead and look at the rest of the cards that came with Nova Aetas. So we have Weeds. Drop back down here a little bit. It says, alarm! Farmers stop you when you pass their farm. A plague is ruining their crops. Strange plants growing in the fields, making it impossible for them to do their farm work. They hand you a map on a specified spot in the forces market. It all started when we eradicated some weeds from here. And then we get an enemy card. So we have one for our Geomancer. Just gives us some stats for her, so if she comes out, she can do some stuff. A bunch of different symbols and attacks again. I don't know what all of them means. Then we have a draft card to go with our Geomancer. So that just probably shows you can draft that and pull this character out in a different game. Alright, then we also have her hunt cards. So she has a bunch of hunts. So we'll read through these. They do start to have some of the same effects, so when they do have the same names and stuff, I will just skip over them really quickly. But we have the Time of Sowing. Gaea places herself adjacent to the nearest hero and performs the following attack on them, with damage of 3, piercing, hinder. We have the Plague of the Brambles. Gaea attacks all heroes within 6. And there's their mark there. Crop Rotation. Place each awakened tree present on the game area adjacent to the nearest hero. Each hero adjacent to it gains hindered. Embrace of the Soil. If Gaea is adjacent to one or more heroes, she moves 4 squares away from them. She then performs this attack on all heroes within 6 spaces. Heroes who also have Hinder tokens must gain an additional check to defend themselves. After the attack, all heroes targeted discard a Hinder token. It's interesting because she's like actively trying to avoid them and hit them at a distance, as opposed to like some other enemies might try and rush in to attack you head on. Spirit of Nature. Place yourself adjacent to the furthest hero and performs the following attack. We have another crop rotation, another Field of Brambles. She's not adjacent to a hero, she becomes adjacent to the furthest hero. Blossoming Impulse. Gaea discards 1 health token for each hero with a hindered token in her range, I'm guessing. In her sight, each hero in the range of Gaea discards the hindered token. Another Embrace the Soil. Gaia's adjacent to one or more heroes, she moves 4 squares away, she performs this attack. Yep, so we already saw that one. Spirit of Nature. Gaea places herself adjacent to the first hero, performs the action. Flag of Brambles. Attacks all heroes within 4 spaces. New Bloom. Place all awakened trees in their initial positions, including the defeated ones. Another crop rotation. Blossoming Impulse. Gaea discards 1 damage for each Hinder token. Revenge of the Thorn. Gaea performs the following attacks on all heroes within her attack range. If a hero suffers the effects of the attack party as a Hinder token, they instead suffer 1 damage. And then the last one is Dark Petals. Gaea places herself at the center of the map, performs the following attack on all heroes. Removes all awakened trees from the game area. The attack gains 1 check for each awakened tree removed. All heroes discard the Hindered token. This attack gains +1 for each discarded token. Crazy. Yeah, it just hits everybody, and then it does more damage and everything if you didn't get rid of those trees first. Awesome. So then the last thing we have are 4 reward cards. So these will be Gs 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we'll see what those do if you get these. So we have Swarm of Bugs, which is a magic trick. So it has an extra attack of targeting someone, looks like 1 damage, just some checks for some blinding. We have the Black Lotus, which is fun. One time during this activation, the next spell you use needs 1 less check to be successful. So this is a Magic the Gathering reference, of course, making your stuff cheaper to play. We have Lifeblood, which is a potion. Spends 2-time roll for 5. Each result of 3 or more, discard 1 health from your hero. Or another adjacent hero, then discard this item. Put it back among the available Gaea rewards. And then the last one is we have the Life Shard. Advantage tokens on this can only be spent using Discharge. Charge. 1. If there are 3 or fewer advantage tokens on this card, place 1 on it. Discharge. Reaction 1. Spend all advantage tokens on this card, performing a defense test against an attack. Interesting. So I'm guessing the advantage is probably up your dice results, or helps you get better checks. This kind of neat. Yeah, you can spend a couple of times just to charge this up, and then you can spend them all. The only downside is right there. It says, when you discharge, you have to spend all of them. So if you gain 3 of them, all of a sudden you really only need 1. You have to spend all 3. So it's kind of that, how long do you save up versus how much are you willing to actually have to spend. Cool. So that was the Nova Aetas Resistance Gaea expansion, and the first bunch of Gaea Reborn for Black Rose War. We went with the new deck of magic cards, new spell deck for Geomancy, and our new model. So come back, check out part 2. We will look over Gaea as an avatar for Black Rose War, and the new path mechanic, and all her commander deck and all that stuff. See you guys there. Bye.